This episode of Brokerage in Motion was brought to you by Simplicity Group.
Hello and welcome to Brokerage in Motion, your one-stop guide for everything happening in independent distribution. I'm Katie Fallinger. In industry headlines, more than 3/4 of BGAs and IMOs say expanding their network of producers is their top priority. This is according to survey responses from a study conducted by LIMRA and NAILBA. The research also revealed that the pandemic altered what some firms are looking for in an ideal agent or advisor. And a surprising find, 71% of BGAs and IMOs reported success recruiting young producers to join their firms. Principal Financial Group announced it has chosen Sutton Cayman, an affiliate of Talcott Resolution Life, to help it shed the risk associated with its retail fixed annuity business and part of its life insurance business. Principal will continue to administer and service the annuity contracts and life insurance policies involved, and officials hope to close the multi-billion-dollar deal by the end of June. In other news, AIG continues to move towards selling a large stake in its life and retirement business to investors by the end of the second quarter. According to AIG CEO Peter Zaffino, the size of the initial public offering will depend on market conditions. New leadership at Libra Insurance Partners. The IMO announced Jonathan Jacobs as its new Senior Vice President of Business Development. Jacobs brings more than 30 years of wealth management experience, and in his new role, he will lead the effort to better align with the company's portfolio of carriers and identify opportunities for partner BGAs. Meanwhile, Insurance Technologies has announced the appointment of Laird Rixford as its new CEO. Rixford brings a track record of growth and innovation to his new role and will help lead the company through continued transformation and strategic expansion. We will hear much more from Laird in just a couple of moments when he sits down with NAILBA CEO Dan LaBert, so stay tuned for that. Meanwhile, if you have any carrier or industry announcements or news to share, we would love to hear about it. Feel free to email us at info@nailba.org.
Thanks, Katie. Great introduction. Excited to be here with you, Laird. Just before we dive into the questions, your new role as CEO of Insurance Technologies. First off, hold on. Insurance Technologies is a big supporter of independent distribution. It's a big supporter of NAILBA. We love working with you guys. You work with a ton of broker general agencies. You really support the industry. But all that aside, all that good stuff aside, how has your life changed since taking over the CEO role of Insurance Technologies?
It's a lot more fun than my previous life was, because my previous life was a little bit in the P&C industry, and on that side of the business, it's significantly different than the life and annuity side. However, it's all kind of the same ball of wax, but it's the same. It has the same struggles, the same challenges, but also the same excitement of what we're doing.
Well, what interested you in the move from the P&C side to the life and annuity side? What drew you to Insurance Technologies?
Throughout my career, I've really enjoyed finding markets that innovation will help transform. And the P&C industry was very much that for the past 20 years. Yeah. If you think back to the late 90s, the first insurance policy was sold online in the late 90s, a long time ago. And then you have all these revolutions. I also worked in the banking industry with a fintech. And that was where you take a picture of your check and with your phone and it transacts it. These are all things these were industries that really could use transformation. In the late 2010s, you actually had it switch from the fintech being the big thing to insurtech. And insurtech, everybody knows insurtech took the P&C world by storm. There was lots of people out there trying to make their waves, trying to disrupt the industry. By the way, I'm not a big fan of disruption because it indicates that there was something wrong with the previous model, that you have to change it. And so as it started to mature, really the next logical step was in the wealth tech market, something that helps life, annuities, and other wealth preservation offerings. And so it's just that natural progression that really drew me in to the life and annuity side of the business and the wealth preservation side of the business because of the opportunities to innovate.
We are going to take just a short break. Don't go anywhere. There's more Brokerage in Motion coming up.
Streamline your life insurance application process with LexisNexis Life Data Prefill, so your customers can get back to life. With a name, address, and date of birth, Life Data Prefill instantly fills in essential data for you to access and use at the point of sale. Providing you, the carrier, with more accurate data early on in the application process helps improve efficiency and creates a better experience for consumers and producers. Now, several new data packages enable you to incorporate even more insights into your application process. These enhancements help you proceed with greater confidence and enable more informed decisions that help you achieve your goals. Contact your LexisNexis Risk Solutions account executive to learn more.
Time now for our IDY segment, where we shine the spotlight on the people in the industry and learn what drives them. For one NAILBA member, taking a chance on himself early on helped him grow into the leader he is today. Take a look.
There was no real chance that I was going to make the team. And, the belief in myself at that time to do that and take that risk and really kind of go all in with myself proved that taking those types of risks in yourself and what it takes to succeed when you take those risks, it is perhaps the number one lesson I've learned.
A walk-on for a top 20 Division I soccer team, Marty Schaefer made a successful college career as a forward at Quincy University, a path which took determination.
And it was something that from a young age I had as a goal and aspiration, and I just continued to pursue it as long as I could.
Pursue it he did. After college, Marty went from student athlete to pro athlete. Drafted by the National Professional Soccer League, he played pro indoor soccer in Dayton and later Columbus.
This was all pre-MLS, where you were essentially living paycheck to paycheck. You had an apartment provided for you and you coached to subsidize your income. So this was nothing like what we see in the MLS stadiums today. But I loved it.
Now, and for the past 2+ decades, Marty has worked in insurance, having climbed the executive leadership ladder with stops at Prudential, John Hancock, and Crump Life Insurance, to name a few. It seems like a little bit of a pivot to go from pro athlete to insurance executive.
Yeah. So when I stopped playing, I became a teacher in Cleveland, Ohio. And we had 2 young kids and a house payment. And 2 Catholic high school teachers were not pulling in an extraordinary amount of income.
So to supplement, Marty started selling insurance in the summers.
And that first summer I did that, it was like sports. The harder you worked, the more you made. And it just it hooked me at that point. And so at that point, I knew I wanted to join the industry.
Today, he serves as the Chief Distribution Officer at Ethos, a role that aligns with what drives Marty personally in the industry.
I have a deep desire and passion for helping insure Americans and making sure that is something that we accomplish as an industry, and we do it as easy as possible. And we've talked about it being easy for a long time, but Ethos has actually accomplished that. So when the leadership team reached out to me about the opportunity, I couldn't pass it up.
Scoring goals and insuring Americans. The similarities aren't blatantly obvious between the two, but Marty says the lessons he learned through sport, teamwork, collaboration, leading and following all directly impact his work today.
You know, the one thing that I reflect on a lot with my soccer career is I was surrounded by great leaders. You know, my high school soccer coach was there for 35 years, and my college coach was there for over 30 years as well. And they were amazing leaders, and they transformed me as an individual. And I think that the learnings from that as a part of a team, and specifically as a part of those teams, led me to where I am today.
And right now I am joined by CEO Dan LaBert. So Dan, we announced back in January that NAILBA and Finseca, of course, share an intent to merge. Now, since that time, NAILBA has held a number of public and private listening tours to gather member and industry feedback. So how's that been going?
Okay, they've been actually fantastic. I can't really express how well they've been going, because it's also been an opportunity to get feedback on the value of NAILBA membership, NAILBA events, what's going on with Finseca, their events, they have best-in-class advocacy. So the feedback has been all positive, but mixed. So it's been a real good opportunity to get members engaged, to get them to ask the questions like, what's going on with NAILBA? Why are we considering this? How does this improve our situation? How does this improve representation for brokerage? So it's been extremely healthy, but all positive. Again, the momentum is building. And as we keep doing these public listening tours, we keep getting invited to private listening tours, study groups, IMOs, things like that. So the great thing is the industry, actually profession, is engaging with what we're doing.
So you mentioned professional development, some enhanced member benefits, and even better NAILBA annual meeting. I'm not sure that's possible, but what specifics can you give us on some of those things?
Some of the best member feedback we've received about an intent to merger, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of members who are on the fence, right? They're excited about it, but they just want to know more. They want to know the why. And shortly, we'll be rolling out how this merger will improve professional development, the additional offerings that will be available to brokerage and members of the agency to sort of sharpen the axe and get access to professional development that candidly NAILBA could not do by ourselves. Finseca has a catalog of opportunities available, and repositioning some for brokerage and then creating some for brokerage is going to be a big hit. As far as the annual meeting is concerned, you're right. It's kind of hard to top one of the best, if not the best, association conference for life insurance and independent distribution. But we're going to release a few points, both internal improvements and external improvements. Obviously, more people are going to be excited about, what is the the attendee experience? How does that improve? But we're going to discuss that, and then just the overall. Hey, this new membership model will improve the value of membership, and here's how it will impact you, your agency. So I think just getting out these three really good points around professional development, the annual meeting, and the overall member benefits, I think it's going to really resonate well, because the initial feedback is, hey, long overdue. This is exciting. Just tell me a little bit more about this. And we could do that as time progresses and we work closer together. But, Finseca is a first-class operation. They have a great team over there. And so far, it's been a real great momentum and great vibe working with their team.
Fantastic to hear that. And it's clearly been a very massive undertaking as well. So what's next on the timeline for the merger?
It is a massive undertaking. We're still figuring out how to work out these hours, but we're still targeting a May to June membership vote. And, prior to that, we're going to get out what you're actually voting on. We're going to list out those member benefits. We're going to list out the improved efficiencies. And just kind of clear up some of the confusion that I think exists out there just by human nature. They're running their agencies, they're taking care of life. They maybe have one eye on some of our stuff that comes across their inbox. So I think offering just some additional clarity around it, clearing up a lot of noise. In our space with as many associations as there currently is, there's a lot of noise. So I think making sure they hear the right message and they know exactly what we're striving toward. But ultimately, it still comes down to, one mission statement: financial security for all. And, NAILBA is 100% bought in.
Fantastic. All helpful insight and information. Dan, thanks.
Thank you.
That is going to do it for this episode of Brokerage in Motion. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Leading the financial planning business
distribution partners, advisors, and consumers with industry education and long-term consumer value. Step into the future with Simplicity Group. Visit simplicitygroup.com for more information.